Hey everybody, welcome back to LPD TV, Grid Talk Online. I'm Lyle, he's Dave, and we're back again. Mount Baker in the background right here.
Yeah, we're outside. No more rain.
We're out at Dave's man cave here, but we got some sunshine, so we moved it outside today.
Yeah.
So we got some news. Dave's buying an Aprilia. Tell us about the hat.
You know what? Since the last race, when I was basically begging Ducati to sign Jorge Martin, even the threat of me selling my bike wasn't enough. And I went out and bought an Aprilia race cap instead of an Aprilia bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What a lot of excitement that went on in MotoGP. Like, total chaos.
Total chaos started right after the race.
Lots of shake-up. So we kind of expected after the race was done, we'd get an announcement.
Well, I want to say, like,
that didn't happen.
I want to say that I've been caught up in this Ducati Nado of a rider choice for 2025. And I just got caught up in it. Like, I thought Jorge was definitely going to get it.
I don't think you're the only one, man. I think everybody was like...
I'm pretty shocked at the last week, which is why we're doing this show, because there's no race, obviously, this weekend.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
They're on a 3-week break, the riders.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't help wanting to do a show this weekend and talk about the last week of drama with the rider choices that Ducati made.
Right.
And, you know, for me, like, I was just studying it the whole week, and it happened right after the race. I think Ducati went to Jorge Martin and basically said to him, we need more time. And he must have flipped out on them. For them to ask him for more time,
and
I've been saying the whole year they should have signed him 2 weeks ago. Should have signed 2 weeks ago. I'm like a broken record. So it started after the race on around 5 p.m. their time.
Yeah.
Jorge lost it when Luigi went and seen him and said we need more time. Marquez came out and said there's no way he's going to a satellite team like Pramac, which is dumb, I think.
Well, to him it didn't make sense.
Yeah, to him, yeah.
And
but it almost looked bad. Made Pramac look like a team not good enough for him, and that's not true.
That's not true at all.
No.
But I don't think that's what it was about. I think that Pramac is a good enough team for him.
He wanted the factory.
But he made comments along the way where when you're into a factory, you get more facilities.
Yeah.
And that's what it was about for Marc. And if he hadn't have had the last 2-3 races he had, he wouldn't have had a leg to stand on. But because he had the results he had in those races, it gave him some ground to say, hey, I'm going to the factory, or I'm going to not your factory, but I'm going to theirs.
Yeah.
So you make the choice. And he put the pressure on. And in the end, Ducati, they decided to give him what he wanted. I know I read in some Italian media that was reporting that they had already made their decision and gave the seat to Jorge.
From what I heard, like, the Italian media came up with that after Jorge and his manager met with Ducati and thanked him for being patient, and they're making announcements at Mugello.
Right.
And then saying that, the media came out obviously on the Friday.
Right.
And then on the Sunday night to ask him for more time.
Yeah.
So that they can play around with Marquez a bit more with his negotiation. That's what I think happened.
I think so too. I don't think you're wrong there.
I think Marquez was aggressively going after the team, the factory team, I think that the factory team we're using Jorge Martin is like, okay, we'll talk to you, but we've got Jorge in the background here. Don't forget.
Yeah.
And I've heard other people say this as well, and I heard Simon Crayford say it as well, actually.
Yeah.
And I go with what Simon Crayford says, and
right.
And I believe that they were trying to play games a little bit, Ducati, and Jorge Martin just wasn't having it.
Well, I think that they Gigi Dall'Igna, I think he, in his own mind, thought he could convince Marquez to go to Primac.
Yeah, I think with the 25 bike.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because Mark had made some comments.
Yeah.
I need a 25 bike.
Yeah, he was adamant he was going to get a 25 bike.
Yeah.
He just wasn't happy unless it was a factory team.
Right. And that kind of came out later on.
Yeah.
As they got closer to Mugello race. And then, that last interview that they had said, there was one interviewer that asked Marquez the question, something about going to another satellite team. And Marquez's response was, no, it's not an option.
Yeah.
I'm going to a factory team.
Yeah.
And he kind of left it in their court, I think. But I think that response really put a spin on all of a sudden their negotiations. Suddenly Ducati had to pivot and be like, are we going to lose this guy?
Yeah.
Or are we going to, what do we do here?
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised that Aprilia took Jorge Martin.
Absolutely.
They must be so happy.
Oh, I'm sure they are, man.
They must be so absolutely happy with who they got and how it turned out.
Yeah.
Ducati's loss, I believe. Aprilia's gain 1,000%.
Well, and not just the Jorge Marquez. I mean, if we bring Bastianini into the conversation, they've also now lost him.
Yeah.
Because he signed on with Tech 3. Yeah. So he's going to KTM.
Okay. So I think Ducati have completely screwed up their future.
You think so?
I think so.
Well, it's yet to be determined, I guess.
Well, Pecco Bagnaia, I'm a huge fan of Pecco Bagnaia. I'm a huge fan of Jorge Martin.
Yeah, Pecco.
And I was a huge fan of Bastianini, Enea Bastianini.
Yeah.
And I think Ducati have completely screwed that up. I really do. And all for one rider, Marc Marquez.
Yeah, I
feel sorry for Jorge Martin. I feel sorry for Enea Bastianini.
I don't think they've screwed up. I think it's yet to be determined because who knows, Marquez, look how competitive he is on the 23 bike. If he gets on a factory bike that is the same technology as Bagnaia, I think he's fighting for the championship because he's already there in the top 3 on a year-old bike.
Oh man, I am 1,000% in on Jorge Martin now for the championship. It was for me. I wanted Pecco Bagnaia to get the 3rd one.
Yeah.
But man, I am all in on Jorge Martin. I was picking 2 riders 2 weeks ago. Okay. Now I got 1 left, and it's Jorge Martin.
Okay.
And I hope he takes the #1 plate to my new favorite team, Aprilia.
Aprilia. Yeah. Do you think, since we're talking about Aprilia, do you think they'll be able to re-sign Maverick? Or
I hope so. I hope so. Maverick is a proven rider.
And he got a win this year.
He got a win.
A huge win.
Yeah, it was a huge win. He knows the bike, I think.
Yeah.
I think he'll benefit from Jorge Martin's data.
Yeah.
On the bike.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Jorge Martin rides in such a different way. I study him, and he doesn't use a lot of setup like on the Ducati. He basically has the same routine he goes through.
Right.
Whereas Pecco Bagnaia needs the whole weekend to get the right setting.
Right.
And Jorge Martin doesn't seem to screw around with that much, from what I observe.
Bagnaia is a little more fine-tuning here.
Yeah.
Little tweak here.
Yeah. Marquez just,
he sure threw a wrench into things.
He did. And I got sucked into that NATO as well.
Yeah.
It was...
well, if you go back a couple episodes, I think I made a point where, those last couple of races, he had the results he had, and that was just Marquez knocking on the door saying, look, I'm here. I deserve a factory seat. And this is the reason why. And,
Have you seen the latest picture of Marquez? Like he's actually, when you mentioned knocking on the door,
yeah,
he's doing this,
he's knocking on the
and
door.
he's got a Joker style smile to him, So he's crossed with the Batman Joker and a Bond villain, and he's like,
I haven't seen it.
oh man, he's like, oh, what are you? He's already playing games.
Yeah, well, it's going to be an interesting back half of the season for sure.
And a super interesting 25 already.
Absolutely.
And we're not even there yet.
Yeah. No, we got to finish 24, but
I can't imagine. The wall's going to go up.
Yeah.
The wall between the two Ducatis.
Yep.
The wall is happening.
Yep.
They're going to build that
wall.
Oh,
it's already
and Mexico's not going to pay for it.
As soon as the
as soon going to build the wall. You let the dogs out again.
Yeah. As soon as that announcement was made, it was like boom, and automatically, the talk and the rumors had really started to kind of escalate about now Pramac going to a Yamaha factory team bike, and
it's still not being announced.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what's going to play out there.
A week ago, they were saying they were going to stick with Ducati.
Yeah.
That I'm just still in shock about the whole thing. To be honest with you,
I think you've had to have the week to kind of get your head around it a little bit.
Do you know Bosoy? He actually said, during an interview that they were sticking with Ducati.
Okay.
Paolo Campanotti hadn't said it yet, but Gino did.
Right.
In the pits.
Okay.
It could have been Jack Appleyard, I think, or something like that.
You think he's going to be eating his words a little bit, maybe now?
I just don't see it. I just don't see any other alternative to Ducati in Pramac. I just don't see it. But I've been wrong, so who knows?
Interesting to see what's going to develop there for sure.
Lots of other riders to be figured out.
Let's go down the grid a little bit. So now,
there's no one at Yamaha. There's only one. There's Quartararo's at Yamaha.
Quartararo, yeah,
with a space left.
LCR, there's a space still.
Yeah,
Johan's there, but Honda, their factory team, Repsol Honda.
Only have one rider that
Yeah.
John Mir, I think he's going to leave Honda.
I kind of think so.
I think
too.
I've got a hunch there. That's going to come.
I can see that coming to fruition.
Nakagami, I don't think is going anywhere. You were saying HRC.
Yeah. What do you think about the old VR6 riders?
The Valentino's riders they technically haven't been signed, but I can't see them changing that either. Bezzecchi is pretty safe.
I think he's got to stay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just, it's still up in the air on about 8 riders. I think it is
right.
9 riders.
Yeah.
So we got another week left to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then there's a race coming up in 2 weeks from today.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the build up.
Today being the June 8th, are we talking?
I don't even know what today's date is. It's a Sunday. They had the Canadian
Grand Prix was we just watched it.
We just watched that, so we could talk a little about the F1 world.
Yeah, F1 on Friday. They were talking about Carlos Sainz.
Right.
Who obviously he's leaving Ferrari because Lewis Hamilton's going to Ferrari.
I still think Ferrari
25.
made a big goof up there, but
so he's been linked with Williams.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, which surprised you.
And Audi, but you're saying
no way Audi.
You're saying it's looking like he's going to go to Williams.
Yeah,
eh?
Yeah. They're further down the road than Audi are.
What do you think they're negotiating on a term? Like
probably time, probably money.
Could it be a 1-year contract instead of a 2-year?
It could be. All the F1 regulations, not the main chunk of regulations in Formula 1 are changing. Like, they want to go to a 50-50 biofuel to electricity,
Right.
whereas the 60/40 now.
Yeah.
They want to make the cars narrower.
Smaller.
Yeah, I think it's 100
Shorter.
millimeters narrower and 200 shorter.
Which is good.
Millimeters.
That'll be a good thing, I think. Be nice to.
They're gonna bring a manual. Do you want to? This is nothing signed yet, but FIA are talking about bringing a manual DRS system on the car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're thinking that the teams are meeting this week after the Canadian Grand Prix.
Okay.
They're all getting together actually this afternoon
to discuss.
Yeah.
And so what? How are they going to implement that?
They want to do this adjustable front wing. They've got the DRS in the rear wing.
Yeah.
They want to bring in an adjustable front one. I don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah.
That might be a bit.
I don't even know how they
and manual as well. So, interesting.
Yeah. I don't know even how they. Well, anything's possible.
Well, I guess when you're out in front, you flip the DRS open, you flip your front wing down, and you're taking off.
Yeah.
But in the corners, you'll need all the downforce.
Is it going to open up like the back wing?
They're saying manual and a flip flop front wing.
The whole front. Or just the
wing, just the wing.
The individual.
The whole rear wing doesn't flip, just the flap.
But the back is one flap.
Yeah.
The front, there's like,
But they're gonna have to change the design on that to make that happen, probably. But it's not. It's all suggestions right now.
Everything's possible. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's a couple of things floating around the paddock.
So let's talk about that Canadian race. We just finished watching.
Yeah, I just finished watching.
It actually kind of started out a little.
Started out a little dicey, like so wet and stormy. And climate change again. I talked about it 2 shows ago.
Yeah.
And it dried out, and it was a good race.
It was a good race. Yeah. It actually turned out to be a lot more exciting.
Yeah, the first 30 laps wet.
Yeah.
The next 42 laps, great.
There was a bit of a wet spell in those.
Yeah, and then a shower.
Yeah.
So wet, dry, shower, dry.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And I loved it when it was like that because it added a lot of drama to the show. There's lots of passing at the front there. Yeah.
It was good. A couple of dumb crashes, though. Logan Sargent.
Yeah.
Dumb crash. That bugged me.
Yeah.
I don't mind some crashes, but the dumb ones I hate.
Yeah.
The dumb ones. Was it Sonoda that tried to turn on the grass?
Yeah.
To miss
that
was another dumb move.
I was a little bit surprised actually with George Russell there at the end.
Russell thought he could win that race. Lando Norris thought he could win that race. Max Verstappen looked like he was going to lose the race.
Right.
But
ended up winning.
He ended up winning, yeah.
But
Lando second.
I think probably the move of the race for me anyhow, I think was probably Russell passing Hamilton.
And he passed Piastri as well, don't forget. Russell passed Piastri. But after Piastri passed him once before.
And he got by him again.
But I
think the move he put on Hamilton
was Hamilton. Yeah, that was a dicey
going
move.
Into the corner.
Was so brave.
How did he get so deep in there and still make the corner?
That was so brave against your teammate and Lewis Hamilton as well.
Yeah, and so that really surprised me. How about Lando though?
Lando
coming in again.
I felt sorry for him. Oh man, he was 9 seconds ahead when that safety car came out.
Know.
They all dived in the pits and he didn't.
I don't know how he didn't. But I think it caught him.
We couldn't see it on the TV because they weren't following him at that time.
Right.
The camera was on Verstappen.
Yeah.
Russell.
Yeah.
And behind.
Yeah, and he stayed out. Was it 2 or 3 laps?
1 lap. No, this is the first pit stop when the safety car came out.
Right.
So he missed. Everyone came in. He had to go around again. And then he ended up in 3rd spot.
But didn't he do 2 laps around?
No, that was when they were going from intermediates to slicks.
Right. Correct.
Yeah, because everyone had to come. This was at lap 35 now.
Right.
But we knew they were going to come in again because it was drying out.
Right.
Slick tires.
Yeah.
So when the slick pit stops came in, that's when Lando stayed out 2 extra time, 2 extra laps,
And then you're thinking, man, did he make the
it
right?
worked out good for him.
At first, we were thinking, man, he's just losing it right there.
Yeah, but
then
it was good.
But then it came to him.
It came to him with like 2 laps to go, 3 laps to go. It came to him again.
But then the camera angle when he was going into the corner there and trying to, his tires weren't up to heat yet.
Yeah.
And he's trying to accelerate out of the corner. And, Verstappen, his tires are already up to temperature. And Lando's coming out of the corner sideways.
Yeah.
Oh, and he lost it right there.
Well, that was when Lando was actually coming out
with this on the second time.
The second time, but that the pit lane exit was soaking wet.
Yeah,
that wasn't dry. The track was dry, but that's why they were so scared about coming out of the pits.
It was a great race.
It was a great race.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Because that track really, when the sun comes out, that track dries up like lickety split. And if you're not on the racing line, you're in the water.
Yeah.
So some pretty dicey decisions. Turned out to be a really great race.
It was a great race, yeah. It was a good race. Pretty happy with that.
And I'm pretty happy with Lando in second. He's starting to stack up the podiums there. So good for McLaren.
Yeah.
They deserve them. They're coming up the grid. I think it's good.
Yeah.
A little bit upset, I guess, that Max ended up winning.
Winning?
Winning.
I put your teeth back.
Exactly.
Was he winning?
Yeah, but I mean, Max, like, the guy's the ultimate driver. He really does have some incredible skills.
He's a clever driver.
Yeah, he's smart, and for him to stay out there and in front the way that he did just shows his experience and his smarts on when to make some key
and his
decisions.
car wasn't working that great. The
Not
suspension.
exactly.
He was complaining on the radio that the car suddenly went too stiff,
right,
on the suspension, so he couldn't take the curbs like all the other drivers were. You know how they cut the corner? They put one wheel on the curb and boom,
Max couldn't do it.
He had to go around the curbs because the car would literally fly in the air.
Yeah.
So, but he still managed that well, and that's like you say, that's experience.
Yeah.
And he's still a young guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So where do we go from here? What's the next track?
Spain for Formula One. I don't think it's next weekend. I forgot to look.
I think they're on a week
it's
off.
a 2 week.
Week off.
There's no MotoGP
next weekend, so we might actually have a weekend away here. Are we going to do a show next week?
We have to do a show next week because we have to.
You heard it here first.
We have to. If the weather's like this, we're going to do another show. Out here.
Maybe we'll follow Dave into the Aprilia dealership to witness a monumental.
I got sucked into the drama like I normally do. So.
Yeah. Oh man.
And Marc Marquez, he doesn't.
I'm still in shock over it all, man. I really am. Wow.
There's certain things that he does on the track that I don't approve of.
Right.
You've
voiced them to me a few times in our off-camera moments.
He rides the bike and I don't think there's anything he won't do to win a race, to be honest with you.
Right.
He reminds me of Michael Schumacher when he's taken out drivers, and when he took out Damon Hill to win in Australia that year, when he turned into he hit the wall, and Damon Hill was coming to overtake him, and he did that. He turned in and took Damon Hill out.
Ended up over in the air. Yeah.
I watched that live, and I was yelling at the TV, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
And Marquez reminds me a little bit about that. I don't think he'll stop at anything to win a race. He's that aggressive, and that's what I think some of the riders don't take kindly to.
Yeah.
I don't personally. He's not as, he's got issues on the track for me. But for you don't see them, do you? Because you've got your Marquez goggles on.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, but
yeah.
We had a difference of opinion when it came to Marquez and Bagnaia.
He's hit every rider except for the rookies now. There's still time for them. He's hit everyone on the grid.
When Marquez and Bagnaia came together, I think it was race 2. and they were coming out of the double apex, and we had quite a disagreement on who's at fault for that accident.
But what you're not remembering is that, I think it was season 20. It was in the 2022 season.
Okay.
When Marquez took out Bagnaia and Jorge Martin. Okay. And I've heard people talk about that race, and Marquez caused that race.
I didn't see any of that, so I can't comment to it.
Yeah, we can go back in the archive.
Yeah,
that might be something that we'll talk about, next week. But
we could do a thing on that.
But so we can do some archive stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Well,
I got my brain in gear. Please subscribe. Click the subscription button. Feel free to share my video with any of your friends, family. Tag us. Click the like button. It helps our channel, helps us grow, helps us do what we enjoy doing. Talking about MotoGP and Formula One. It's our passion. Lens are us. You're looking for any eye care, sunglasses, go see them. Lens are us. They're anywhere in Vancouver, Lower Mainland area here in British Columbia.
Okay.
And they're professionals. They got lots of product to take a look at.
What did he sell? What brands did he sell? Like Ray-Bans and stuff?
Oh, they got everything there.
Oakley's?
Yeah, they got there's lots of product. I can't keep it all in my head. Yeah, there's Oakley's, Ray-Ban, Maui Jim, Saint Laurent. The list goes on. They got all kinds of stuff. Designer
and
sporty.
Today you need the sunglasses on, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Go check them out. I don't have on one of their shirts, but if you get a chance, go check out Sasso Moda. They definitely have some incredibly good clothing there, good service, good stuff to check out. They'll get you looking dapper for clothing.
You're looking dapper today.
With my Pecco shirt on.
Yeah.
Any shout outs you want to give?
I forgot a name last show. I mentioned Dave Hatch at Motorcycle Experience.
Yep.
Colin Fraser was another name I'd like to add to that.
Okay.
To that shout out. He basically was he worked with Dave Hatch on the show.
Right.
But Colin Fraser was actually a racer. He raced, and he was the race kind of correspondent for the segments.
Okay.
They did the road experience, but he also covered the racing Canadian Superbike experience back in the day.
Yeah.
So Colin Fraser was one that I forgot to mention on my shout out.
Now who's going to put their teeth in?
Shoot out.
Very good. Yeah, Colin Fraser, right on. I see him a lot on this Canadian Superbike channel.
Yeah.
I watch their YouTube channel once in a while.
I watched the Canadian Superbike on TSN, the highlights. Jordan Zoe, like when the Canadian Superbike was coming to British Columbia.
Yep.
Just over there, that way.
Down the road, yep.
Chilliwack Airport was where they used to have it.
Okay.
And I want to say 98.
I did not know that.
98, 99, 98.
Okay.
And I used to take my eldest boy there. And Jordan Zoe was, I think, 17 years old on a Smoking Joe's Honda 600, and he was a beast of a rider when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised that he's the most winningest Canadian
on a bike.
He is, isn't he? Isn't he?
I think he is now.
Yeah, I think he is now.
Steve Crevier, I think, was.
Miguel Duhamel was up there as well. Don't forget. But
but not
Jordan Zoe
in
Canadian Championship. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Steve's next.
So Jordan Zoe needs to, and he got hurt a couple of years ago, and he's still recovering on his injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing rider.
And all the amount of riders that have come and gone in that series.
Yeah.
And Jordan Zoe is riding now. He's riding the Kawasaki ZX-10.
And he's always battling with another name we should mention, Ben Young.
Ben Young he's the number one, isn't he?
Isn't he a 3-time champion?
Yeah, I think he is, yeah. And he's the number one plate, Ben Young,
yeah.
He won, actually, the race I watched. I think it was the opening round. He won 2 races.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched
Jordan Zoke was third.
I watched him on the Daytona 200. He was one of the
Yeah, because Colin Fraser's doing the play-by-play
right
on the
Daytona.
channel.
Yeah.
No, on the Canadian
Canadian
Superbike on
channel.
TSN.
Yeah.
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 He's the
Wasn't
play-by-play.
there like 9 riders, I think, that went to Daytona 200 this year?
You know what? We should
Canadians?
actually feature that next show. I want to talk about the Daytona because I haven't watched it yet. But we should watch a redo and
Sure.
maybe mention that.
Yeah, let's dig into the Canadian scene
and the Alaman TT, which finished today.
Yeah, we were gonna do a little bit on that.
Yeah, so we should do our homework again.
Yeah,
the next show.
Okay.
The Alaman TT and
well, I know
Daytona 200.
Michael Dunlop is now the all-time winningest rider for the TT.
Okay.
I think he's surpassed now Joey.
Yeah. Well, Joey was what 25 or 26,
and I think now Michael is at 27.
Okay.
So wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
It is. And you know what? I've been the Alaman, and you know when I was going, top speed was maybe, I think, 140, 150.
Right.
Now they're pulling like 180, 190 down some of the roads.
Wow.
Yeah. And the average speed I think is over 130.
Right.
Whereas when I was going, it was maybe 100, 105.
Right.
You know.
Wow. That's still insane fast.
Yeah.
You know.
It is 37.2 miles.
Yeah. For one lap.
One lap.
That's a That's a long lap, man. 37 miles.
Yeah.
Wow, that just blows my mind.
Yeah. 6 laps is the senior race.
Right. 6 laps.
6 laps. Yeah.
Wow.
And the super stock I think is 4. Well, we'll dig into that.
Yeah.
We'll watch that.
So let's do the thing on the TT and the Canadian Superbike. Let's try.
The Daytona 200.
Daytona 200.
Yeah.
You don't want to do anything on that?
No, I think I don't subscribe to any of the Canadian, but we'll see what we can do.
Let's try and talk.
Okay, that's your homework then.
Okay.
I'll do TT. You can do that.
Sure.
And I'll watch the 200 as well.
Sure.
Can't think of anything else topical. Other than that, I didn't sell my bike like you wanted me to.
You're the one who said it. If they sign Marquez, let's go back a couple episodes and just rewatch.
Nothing to see. Nothing to see here.
I'm buying an Aprilia. I believe were the words coming out of your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't say it.
I did.
I did. There you go. You heard
like
it
I say,
first.
I that Ducati Nado sucked me in.
Yeah. Lots of drama, man. And so yeah, we'll come back next week. We'll do another episode of Grid Talk Online. And thanks for checking in with us. Thanks for watching. I'm Lyle.
I'm Dave. He's Lyle. From outside the cave.
Take care. Make it a great day.